Okay, well, I'd like to get started here. So DJ is working on, we're doing this not only live, we're also doing this live via Zoom. So we have a number of people on here who are participating virtually. So those of you that are on Zoom, welcome. I'm glad you're able to join us, and please keep your microphones on mute. If you do have a question, go into the chat box, and DJ or someone else will give us the questions. Christopher, I don't know if you'll be able to do that or not, but let me tell you a little bit about. My name is Tony Sveda. I'm with AAA Western Central New York, and I am hosting this trip, which I've been on before, and we call this President's Choice trip because it is one of my favorite trips I've ever been on, which has been fantastic. With me is my partner in crime, Melissa Peterson. Melissa she started working with us when she was 5 years old. She's been with us for over 20 years now. And Melissa and I have done a couple of these trips together. We've been to Ireland and Scotland and Wales and England. And so
the prince get married.
we did see the prince get married. That's right. So, well, we got close.
We did. He didn't choose me, so we let him marry Megan.
Oh, yeah, we did have a lot. So anyways, just tell you a little bit about AAA and AAA Travel and what you get with us. We are the largest leisure travel agency in upstate New York. What people don't realize is our territory covers Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse. We go as far east as Rome, New York. And before the pandemic, we would sell well over $100 million in travel. And a lot of people don't realize that, but that's just our club that sells over $100 million in travel. Well, we do these trips every year. And we did them every year up until 2020. And in 2020, we were supposed to do a river cruise from Paris to Normandy. And that was the 75th anniversary. And then it was supposed to be a really touching thing. And then, of course, COVID hit. We had the cruise sold out. And we went on AMA. And AMA Waterways is one of our favorite cruise lines. And I will have to tell you that not one person lost money. AMA is a preferred vendor of AAA's. And they covered everybody. And a lot of money came out of their own pockets, but everybody did get their money back. And then we also worked with the airlines to make sure everybody got their credits back and things like that. So nobody really lost any money. And that's one of the things that you get when you work with AAA, is that we're going to stand behind everybody and certainly give you the experience that you're expecting and hopefully make it. So Melissa Peterson's with me today. In the back, we have Lynn Galante, who works in our Clarence office. And over here, we have Christopher Pierce, who is our manager of our Greece office. And then people that you may have met upstairs, Terry Cummings works in our Orchard Park office, Ashley Shelby-Chapman works in this office here, and they can answer any questions for us that we have. We have class in the back who handles a lot of our travel, marketing, social media, and stuff like that. So, and if I have to say this now, because I'll forget, my wife is way in the back. That's her hand up there, and she's the one that will correct me for every mistake I make tonight. So I'm going to turn over to Melissa, and she's going to tell us a little bit about what we're going to see.
Okay, so first we want to talk about live AMA, and Tony reached on it with the partnership and their preferred supplier and everything they did for us when COVID hit and we had to suspend the sailing and nobody lost any money. So that's the first real key, is they're a preferred supplier, they're a strong partner of ours, and that's why we choose to work with them. But there's a lot of other components and amenities that set them apart from some of the other suppliers as well. So we're going to dive into that tonight. So first is their staterooms. Spacious designs, they're innovative. One of their inclusions in the staterooms and on the whole ship is Wi-Fi. So on some other carriers, you may have to go to the internet cafe or to the lounge to connect to the internet. You might have to use their computer, maybe not even your own device. But on AMA, Wi-Fi is included as part of your cruise ticket, and you have it on the whole ship. So in your cabin, you can connect any of your devices. You can use their smart TV as well to access the internet, communicate with the crew on board. 86% of the staterooms on board AMA have a balcony of some sort. So there's French balconies, which give you a sliding door that you can open and step out onto so you can get some nice fresh air, or a full balcony that you can step out onto and will have some chairs and a table. The next feature that sets AMA apart from some other lines and why we chose them is their award-winning cuisine. Tony can attest to that. He's been actually on this ship and he's done this sailing, and that's part of why it was chosen and why we named the trip the President's Choice Trip. But wonderful cuisine, different menu every night when you eat in the main dining room, and the menus are selected based on where you are and the regions that you're in. You also have, this is a picture of it, but it's called the Chef's Table Specialty Dining Restaurant. And the cruise line recommends you dine in there one evening. You can make a reservation. It's part of your cruise fare, so no additional cost. And it's a specialty menu with wine pairings. The chef will come out and talk to you. You can see into the kitchen, and they have plenty of reservations available so that everybody on board can make sure to get at least one meal in there. And then the bottom picture there is a picture of the lounge, where the nightly happy hour takes place every evening. And that's another feature of AMA that sets AMA apart is at breakfast, you have sparkling wine included. So if you want a mimosa with breakfast, you can do so. And lunch and dinner, you have beer, wine, and soft drinks included. And you do have your happy hour every day as well. Do you have anything you want to say about the food, Tony?
I mean, first of all, the things that they do, everything is top. And like Melissa mentioned, the Chef's Table, that's a little bit special. I mean, if you go there, you're with a number of people that you may have friends with or make friends with, but the chef will come out and he'll give you some special treats for the dessert.
I read and was also told by somebody who sailed, I haven't sailed, but you don't have to choose your dessert. They bring you the plate and you have each dessert that's served that evening, you have a plate of all of the desserts. So you don't have to choose. So save room for dessert when you eat at the chef. Okay, they also have a wellness program. So after you eat all of the desserts at the chef's table, you participate in the wellness program. There's a wellness director on board who sets up all of the programs. Yoga classes, different fitness classes are available. There'll be trainers in the fitness center to make sure you're being safe and healthy, but also answer any questions. A salon, a spa. There is either a pool or jacuzzi on the sun deck if you want to take some time to relax as well. And there's a shot of the whole wellness team. Okay, and part of river cruising and also AMA is that the ports of call are in the heart of the city. So you don't have to get on a bus and travel hours to get to your excursion. You're going to be close. You're going to get to really be immersed in every port that you get into. So whether you're on an excursion, and we'll touch on excursions in a minute, or you get off the ship in the port and you're on your own, you're right there in the heart of the city and you can experience, all that city has to offer.
This picture up here is a trip to State Farm, a truffle farm. And the dogs go out and find truffles in the ground. It's kind of fun just watching how they do that.
And I mentioned excursions. So this is a big feature of AMA's. So you don't have just one excursion in each port included. You have your choice of excursions, and each port will give you 3 or 4 choices, and you get to choose what you want to do. They offer different activity levels and different experiences. So it could be a bike tour. It could be hiking a vineyard. It could be a city tour. It can be an art gallery tour. So you have lots of choices, and you get to pick based on your preferences and your activity level. Was there a question? No. Okay, and so we talked about being in the heart of the cities and all of the ports and the excursions, and this is a really great snapshot of the map of the itinerary. We'll be on the Rhone River, but prior to getting on the river, it's 2 nights in Barcelona. So we'll fly into Barcelona, spend 2 nights, a downtown hotel. There's a tour to the Abbey and Mountains of Montserrat. And then once we finish seeing the galleries and enjoying Barcelona, we'll take the TGV high-speed train over to Avignon for embarkation for 7 nights on the Rhone. And if you choose, you can even extend your stay in Paris afterwards for 2 or 3 nights when you disembark in Lyon. And we'll hop into some of the different ports and some of the different activities and sites that you can see. So these photos are from Barcelona. So you can see the architecture and the styles and the colors in the city, and then a great shot of the mountains and Abbey of Montserrat.
There's tons to do in Barcelona. You can see the architecture is really a part of art almost. And if you look at this, one of these, they have the shards of stained glass, which is part of the architecture in these buildings. It's just incredible. And of course, museums. Picasso moved to Barcelona when he was 14 years old. So it was about Picasso.
Okay, so in Arles, you can experience the Roman amphitheater. You will have your choice of an excursion that can take you there with a tour to hear about the history and really get immersed in it and see and really get up close with the architecture. And also in Arles, Van Gogh, and I'll let Tony talk about that.
Well, many of you probably know Van Gogh. Hills and Van Gogh, spent many years in Arles, and that's kind of the asylum where he ended up. And we'll get an opportunity to visit that asylum and see all the different sceneries where he made some of his paintings. It's incredible. You'll hear
Super.
a lot of the history of him and why his ear was cut off. And some of the competition he had with some of his other artist friends and older females. You'll hear a lot of the stories. But just great art. Great band.
Okay, so the province of Lebu, and I was corrected last night on the pronunciation, so I hope I have it right tonight. Yeah, and this tour, and you can also see an olive farm. So I don't know if you remember the slide where there was the truffle farm below it with some little pieces of bread with olives on it. So you'll get to see how the olive farm works and some tastings as well, and maybe pairing with wine. There will be wine. Okay, there's the Papal Palace, and you talked a lot about that last night.
Yeah, I remember. But there are the Papal Palace. There's 9 popes that stay in this area here in Avignon, and that's where they come up with the great which is the host of the popes. And so you go through the Palace of the Popes, and it's fabulous. Nice. And there'll be wine there too.
I think so. Do you guys sense the theme? The architecture, and I'm intrigued by bridges, but this amazes me, and I think this is really just a great site that you'll get to see as well. And as you sail down the river, you'll get to pass by and visit some cities. So Ferran, and these are all vineyards up the hill.
And we'll visit some vineyards in Ferran and Hermitage, which is the other town that we'll go to. And one of the red wineries that we visited was called M. Chateau, which is a really nice. They have a great rosé and also have a
Is that where you hiked the vineyard, or was that somewhere different than where you hiked it?
Yeah.
Okay, another great city to visit, art galleries, great architecture, really just lots to see and experience and immerse yourself in the end. And then Lyon, which unfortunately is where we disembarked, but it's a wonderful, beautiful city with lots to see and do. I love this shot. It just really gives the buildings and the steeples, and it's just, and the colors, just really wonderful.
It's the third largest city in France, and it really takes. It's like almost like mini Paris. I mean, yes, Paris is a couple hours up the road, but it's almost like mini Paris with a lot of wonderful things to see. Great restaurants. Obviously, chocolate is another good big thing that's there, and they have actually a silk factory. You can buy some really nice. had a tie on last night.
You
That was
did.
From that area.
You did, yes. And then Paris. So you do have the option if you would like to extend your trip for either 2 or 3 days in Paris. Depending on which extension you choose, there's either a city tour included or the City of Lights tour, but so much to see, so much to do in Paris. I spent 5 days a couple of years ago and cannot wait.
You can see us in blue.
Yes, yes, yes. We racked up about 30,000 steps a day walking through Paris. Has anyone been to Paris or Barcelona or any of the cities along the way? No. Are you not in agreement with the love of the cities? Okay, so we touched on a lot about why AMA and the ports and the cities and the excursions. Before we jump into the package and the President's Choice trip, do we have any questions from our audience or from Zoom before we go on? Yeah.
How long is the train ride from Barcelona to?
I believe it's a couple of hours, but I don't know that for sure. But I think somebody can Google it for us and find out. From Barcelona to the Avignon area. Thank you. Anybody on Zoom, DJ, with a question?
No, not yet.
No, not yet. Okay.
I have,
Yeah.
if we were to extend to Paris to 3 days,
Mhm.
is it possible to do a Normandy excursion on one day from Paris to Normandy? I guess that might be too far, I just don't know.
You can, yes, you
Okay.
can. Yeah, you can
So that
absolutely
could be
do it.
something we could do if we extended.
Yes, I would definitely do the 3-night versus the
Oh, for sure,
2-night
yeah.
because it's an early morning out of
Yeah.
Paris and a late evening night back, but
Okay.
you certainly could.
Right.
Yes, yep, for sure. Do you have a question, Jim?
I want to know, are there any locks? Are there many locks along?
There are lots. I don't know. Yeah, probably two.
All right, well, we will carry on. Everybody has the trip flyer in front of them. So this has an outline of all of your inclusion day by day, 4 hours. And the train is a 4-hour ride. While you're Googling, I'll go from Lyon to Paris in case we have any extra. Thanks, Christopher. So you have your flyer, your day-by-day itinerary, all of your inclusions. We'll go over that tonight, but great resource, and you can take notes if you want to, and certainly let us know if you have any questions. So what does the package include? And we built this President's Choice trip so that we could really immerse you in the area and also take advantage of easier flights from our area of the country over to that region. So it's easier to fly into Barcelona than it is into Versailles, which is where we would have to go into the board in Avignon. So, but also if you're flying out to the south of France, why not add Barcelona for a couple of nights? So we have 2 nights in a first class downtown hotel in Barcelona. And like I said early on, this gives you the opportunity to really immerse yourself in the city of Barcelona, all it has to offer. And there is an excursion to the mountains of Abbey of Montserrat also included. We talked about the TGV high-speed train, 2 hours from Lyon to Paris. Your 7-night river cruise aboard the Ama Cristina on the Rhone River in whatever selected accommodations you choose. So we have a variety of cabins. We'll talk about those in a couple of slides and what the cabins include, the sizes, and the different balcony choices. Like we talked about with AMA being inclusive, you have all of your meals on board, and they are served with wine, beer, and soft drinks. There's the daily cocktail hour, the Wi-Fi access on the whole ship, and you have services of a professional cruise manager and wellness host on board. So that cruise manager oversees all of the departments, make sure everybody's happy, make sure everything's going smooth on board for you. And the cruise manager also joins on some of the excursions as well. And in the excursions, you will have an English-speaking guide, and everybody will have a portable audio headset. So when the guide is in front of the group, you'll be able to hear them on the devices, so you don't have to crowd each other or try and get up close to the guide. You'll be able to really hear what's going on and also see in a comfortable way. And then additionally, because you're AAA members, we're AAA, you have some other inclusions as well. $150 per person AAA member benefit. It's a discount that AMA offers, and that's built right into the package for you. Up to $125 per stateroom in onboard credit. So you can use that for spa services, additional excursions, shopping on board. Your cruise manager and crew gratuities are included, so you don't have to worry about those at the end of the cruise. All of your port charges are also included. And then you'll also have a AAA tour manager on board, and that will be me. So we're going to try it again, Tony. And we've talked about extending your stay. So there's the 2-night or the 3-night package in Paris, and then also group air. So because we're a year out from the trip, we can't book and price airfare just yet. We can do it about 10 months out. So in mid-November, we will have the opportunity for group air available for you. So once you're under deposit and we have the group air available, your travel advisor will reach out to you, let you know what the options are, and then you can decide if you want to join the group air or if you want to do flights on your own. Okay, that was a lot of information before we hop into pricing and payments and travel insurance. Any questions about the inclusions? Yes.
In your experience, how was
So September is coming off of the European summer vacation. So September is actually a great time to travel to Europe because the schools are all back. The Europeans who get 6, 8, 10 weeks vacation and take it in the summer, they're all back to work as well. So May, early June, and September are great times to be in. Yeah, you're welcome. Anybody else? No, anything on Zoom? No? Okay.
I think someone's directly messaging you. They're not messaging me here. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
So we can check that.
We'll
in a
check
bit.
it, yeah. Okay, so you all have the grid in your flyer as well. I'm not going to read every price and every category for you, but to give you some ideas and summarize for you. So what a fixed window cabin means is you have windows that are about 3 feet tall that are right off of the ceiling level. So the purpose of these windows is to let daylight into the room. If you're not vertically challenged like myself, you'll be able to see out the windows. But the purpose is really to let daylight in. The French balconies, like we talked about, you open your door and you can step out, but they're about the width of your feet. So you won't be able to bring a chair out there and sit, but you will have the opportunity to open that door, get a full wall of sunlight in, and also get the fresh air. And then the outside balcony is a full balcony that you can walk out onto. There'll be some chairs and a table out there, so you can sit and have a drink or a coffee if you want, and watch while you're sailing or in the morning. And you can see that the stateroom size gets bigger, and as you have a larger stateroom, you also have 2 balconies. So those larger staterooms have small sitting areas, and off of the sitting area is the French balcony, and then off of the area where the bed is where that outside balcony is. So you actually have 2 balconies in some of those larger staterooms. If you're ready to book, and when you're ready to book, a deposit of $1,500 per person is due at time of booking for the 9-night package, so the Barcelona with the cruise. If you choose to do one of the post stays in Paris, it's an additional $200 per person deposit. When we know what the airline is and what the airline terms are, there could be an additional deposit for the flights as well, if you choose the group air, and your travel advisor will advise you of those terms and conditions. Final payment on the cruise will be due by May 9th. And for anybody that attends our events this week, there is a special booking offer. It's $100 off per booking. and you would need to make your deposit by September 30th to take advantage of that booking offer, and your travel advisor would apply that to the booking for you at time. Any questions before we talk about travel insurance? Yeah. So the ship hold has 79 cabins. So, just shy of 160 people on the ship. We have 55 cabins. So we could have up to 110 people if we accommodate all of our cabins in double occupancy. Yeah, so we'll have about 2/3 of the ship at the whole ship.
So we have enough people from a lot of fun. You meet new people, you spend with them, you have an immediate.
Okay, travel insurance. We always recommend travel insurance, especially now, even more so now. So travel insurance used to be to protect your investment, in case you need to cancel because you either get sick or injured prior to the trip, or an immediate family member gets sick, injured, or passes away. And we still recommend it for that reason. However, we now recommend it even more so because it provides you with medical coverage. So above and beyond, or in exchange for your own personal medical insurance. So if you get sick or injured while you're on the trip, this will provide coverage for you. It also provides interruption coverage. So that means if you become sick or injured while you're on the trip and you need alternate accommodations. So let's say you contract COVID while you're on the trip, or you become exposed and you need to quarantine. This will cover additional accommodation coverage for you, as well as medical care. If you become injured, let's say, and need to return home early, your doctor deemed it better that you return home early. Expenses to get you home early, your medical coverage, and also reimburses you for lost days of the trip. So super recommended. There's lots of different coverage options, from $25,000 in medical coverage up to $50,000, different coverage options for the interruption. And there's also a plan that allows to cancel for any reason. So you can take that out and you would get 80% back if you cancel because you were having a bad hair day, or, your dog got sad and didn't want you to leave. Or if, you decide that, at this point, you just don't feel comfortable traveling, you could cancel and get 80% back. So lots of options for travel insurance. Talk to your travel advisor about it, but we recommend it 110%.
All the travel advisors know all the things. There's a lot of different options in regards to the insurance. The most important thing that I missed because you don't know if your health insurance carries over. And so you got to make sure that you check with your health insurance, but this probably should be that. And just about every trip, somebody does something. And you're looking at a lot of things. They have cobblestones in there. People, they trip, they fall. Someone puts their hand down before you know what happens. I'm not saying this is going to happen to anybody here, but every trip it happens to somebody.
It does. It does. I've been to many foreign hospitals with travelers, and those with travel insurance will have a little bit. Okay, well, let's go back to that slide. Any questions about travel insurance before we talk about its current COVID policy? Yes.
Yeah, how, my understanding is right now the European Union is not exactly welcoming of Americans. And so how would this be handled? Should we not be able to make the cruise? Is this 100% reimbursement? Is it a percentage?
Well, they are accepting us. Every country has different terms. So a lot is being rolled out lately in the last couple of weeks. For example, France just last Friday said starting Sunday, so they have about 48 hours notice, that if you are not vaccinated, that you must provide proof of a negative test. All travelers must fill out a health form online, that pretty much just says you haven't been exposed to COVID and you don't have any symptoms and that you don't have COVID. So they want us to visit, they want us to travel, they just want to protect their citizens, just like the US is doing. You can't fly into the US without a negative test. So yeah, we'll go into AMA's COVID policy and, talk about that. But it's obviously a fluid situation. If ever the borders, close down again, then we would work with AMA just like we did in 2020 to determine what we could do for everybody. And also if there became a point where we decided as a club that, it just doesn't feel right to take all these travelers, we would make a decision. And we did that in 2020 with a large group that was supposed to go to Costa Rica. We canceled it to be responsible prior to Costa Rica. So yeah, we'll make that decision. Okay, AMA's current COVID policy. So currently, in order to get on board, all travelers and crew members must be fully vaccinated. On board, you would wear your mask when moving around the indoor corridors. If you're in your cabin, you don't need it. If you're seated in the restaurant or the lounge, you wouldn't have it on. Or if you're up on the upper sun deck, you don't need it on. But in the indoor areas, they do request that all guests and crew members have their masks on. Currently, you don't need a negative test to get on board. Like we talked about with the countries. So France right now requires a negative test if you're not vaccinated. Spain hasn't changed their policies yet. They're letting everybody in. So we would just have to see, what happens next September. But currently to get on board, all travelers must be vaccinated. And also the US, like I mentioned, requires that you have a negative test to get home. And AMA would help facilitate that for us, either on board or in the post extension. There is a cost for it, and they would bill it to the room charge. Any questions about their current policy? Nothing in Zoom? No? We must be doing a good job. I guess so. Oh, right. Okay, so we're a small group, so it's been easy to entertain questions as we've gone along. But any other questions that have come up during the presentation that you would like answers to? No questions? Wow, this is. You guys make our job easy. Thank you. Okay, so
Let me just point out in the
Yeah.
back, because they weren't here before, Terry Cummings in the back there. Terry is one of our top agents in Orchard Park, and actually, check is our right here in Amherst. And of course, I mentioned Lynn. If you have questions, they'll certainly be around also to answer questions.
yes, yeah. If you want to meet with one of them, set an appointment to talk to them in person, via Zoom, or over the phone, and you can certainly do that.
Yep, and our agents will do, we'll do virtually if you want to meet with them virtually, we'll do it in the office when we're here. We prefer appointments just so it goes smoother, and we like to have fewer people in the office. We do have masks, we do wear masks, we wear masks in our offices, all of our offices. When you go from place to place, you wear a mask on. Melissa and I did not wear a mask today because we are socially distant.
Yeah.
But we will put a mask on.
We will, and we wanted our friends in Zoom to be able to hear us. Okay. Yeah. No more questions? Yes. Thank you.
Are you expecting the air arrangements to be similar to previous trips where a bus to Toronto flew over to Europe, or would you be going from Buffalo to New York City and then to Europe?
We don't know. All of those are options. Toronto would be our first choice. It's an easier bus ride. The airfares are usually a little better out of Toronto. We have to see what happens with, the border situation, how easy it is to get across, what the flights look like. So Toronto, New York City, Boston even could be an option. Of course, we want to lessen that motor coach time as much as possible because you'll be on a long flight overnight. But yeah, we'll probably be doing a shuttle of some sort from Syracuse, Rochester, and Buffalo to an international airport. Yep. I think I saw a hand over here.
This was activity level 2, you said?
The cruise as a whole is an activity level 2, and then you would have the option in your excursions if you wanted to do a more active or a gentler excursion, you could as well.
Yeah, hiking and biking. There's a no.
A question, DJ?
We do have a question.
All right.
It's known that Tony has enjoyed this trip. What was your favorite part? And you guys have already kind of explained what makes Amos so special, but what was your favorite part of this trip?
Part of the trip, I would say the Van Gogh part was really the best. You know, we went during a time where you could see the lavender fields also. That was really, really pretty. I don't think there'll be lavender fields there at this time.
No, the peak is mid-July, so it'll be,
Right, so it's, but I would say, you know, in the Avignon and Arles where Van Gogh was. Also, a lot of the architecture. It's really, really good. I enjoy all that. And I have to say, the wine is really good, and the chocolate is good too. Yeah.
and with his mention of chocolate, if you haven't opened the boxes on your table, they are chocolate truffles from Watson's Chocolate locally. So enjoy them and maybe, you know, pair it with some wine when you get home this evening if they make it home in the car ride.
Don't underestimate the food. The food is really good.
All right.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Yes.
Any questions? You're here.
I'll take a look here.